Welcome to the Energy Hour. The Energy Hour is brought to you by Quality Home Improvement, Southern California's premier residential and commercial contractor, making homes and businesses energy efficient, one building at a time.
What's going on, Rob?
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Hey, man, today is already June 11th.
Oh, my God.
Half of this year's toast.
I know, right?
And I hate to say it, half of the federal tax credit time is toast.
It is toast. Remember when we were like in February and we were saying, because that's kind of our
You can't beg anybody to
no,
do this
that's our
stuff.
solar summer, right? Like
Right.
get in around then, March, April, because we want to get you
perfect.
installed and take advantage of all these. Look at these days. It was in our office area. It was 106 yesterday.
Oh, yeah,
in
it's going to
Upland,
be
California.
that today again.
Wow.
And in the city of Thousand Palms,
Uh-huh.
I was looking at the temperature. Today is going to be a mere 118 degrees.
That's lovely. You know, it was odd yesterday. My kids were looking up temperatures around. My two sons were with me, and they found out that like Vegas was 98. And I'm like, we've got Vegas by 8 degrees.
Vegas was 98 degrees. Isn't that something?
Isn't that crazy?
That's just insane. So, people really don't understand the reasons of global warming and, all these things that are going on. But, it's real. Ask Bill Nye, the science guy. He'll tell you.
It's very real. And just because you get a few cold winter days or a little extra rain doesn't mean global warming doesn't exist. Global warming really is responsible for a lot of different weather extremes.
Exactly.
And that's what people just don't quite get.
And we're in the midst of them right now.
Absolutely in the middle of it.
This is historic.
It's historic and scary as hell. And if you're not scared, you're not paying attention because there is a tipping point at some place. At some point, if you get a diagnosis of cancer and you ignore that, it's almost the same thing with climate change if you ignore it. At some point in time, you're going to reach a tipping point there's no coming back from.
And
or the cost is so high.
Sad to say, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
And, all this ice that's melting all over the planet right now, we're getting this, permafrost.
Yeah.
Now, if nobody has looked up that term yet, look up permafrost and the effects that it can cause to the climate. I mean, we're talking this stuff gets up into the environment.
Yeah.
You got some serious issues, man.
Absolutely.
And, once Mother Nature gets kind of pissed off, she's not going to say sorry.
No, but it's like anything. Like if you look at the word disease, like when we get a disease, it just separate the word. It's dis-ease.
Yep.
So it's
your
body's not at ease.
That's
well,
right.
Well, that applies to our planet as well.
Right.
And, have to say it's a pretty easy theory to come across that if we didn't have 7.5 people basically brutalizing the planet, we probably wouldn't be in this situation. It has a state of balance that it will always try to return to, just like our bodies, but at some point it can't.
Speaking of disease,
Yeah.
there are customers out there that have a slight mental disability when it comes to, and I hate to say that, when I have to talk to a customer, I'm not God or anything like that. Everybody's buying for me, blah 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 blah.
Right.
Well, they mostly do because of the care and education that I put into the the opportunity.
We possess definitely more knowledge than most people out there.
But when you get somebody that sits there for like 3 months, and don't worry, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it.
Right.
You don't want to hear that anymore.
No.
It's like,
and
wow, I can't even help this person.
I did a lot of work in architecture and construction for the government, and they always had their 3 bids or so, right? And I think there's nothing obviously wrong with that.
That's fair.
But I think there are some customers, thank God for Google. I'm all about due diligence, and I love intellectual curiosity. I want you to go out there and research. I just researched the heck out of finding a bed, and it's great. But at some point, you could go so far with it that it immobilizes you. That everything you learned, for every one item of knowledge you gained, you had 2 or 3 more questions. And at some point, it paralyzes somebody, and they don't do something. And at this moment, with the way the rates are going up and the incentives are going down, something is better than nothing. What we're trying to tell you is, there are definitely some things that are better than others. And because what we want to do is we want to put things out there that one and done, it's done right the first time, but it lasts a long time.
I've got a friend that when he car shops, he'll go to all these dealers.
Yeah.
and he'll spend hours
Right.
there. And then, he'll be driving by one of these little Joe Blow shops, and hey, they'll be offering, hey, great deal, blah blah
Right.
blah blah blah, on not the latest version, but something that's 5 years older.
Right.
He'll buy that car and it'll flip and fall apart on him
Yeah. Yeah.
every single time.
Right. Yeah.
And I go, what are you doing, man? We went to 11 car dealerships.
Right.
It's almost like I'm courting this guy, you know?
Right.
I'm just like,
Right.
what? Here, let me just give you my ring now and just start this off.
Yeah.
And it was depressing.
The funny thing is look, we've always said this about our company. We're most likely never going to be the lowest bid. We're certainly not going to be the highest. We're going to be comfortably somewhere in the middle to lower middle. But it's what we know we have to spend to do the job right. But we're not those companies that are going out there saying, look, we got a deal, a blowout special. Hey, do this. And we don't mark prices up to mark them down. We don't try to make people think they're, what we sell is value.
Value, exactly.
Okay. But we sell tier A products with tier A, installation, because, it's like going back to the disease thing, right? I say, Chris, here's the thing. You've got cancer. I'm sorry. I got 2 treatments. One's cheaper and you'll live 5 years. One's going to cost a little bit more, but you should live 20, 30 years beyond. Which one's you going to choose?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely.
Right.
I mean,
Okay.
it's
so
a no-brainer,
the same thing. It
right?
comes down. Look, I got a person right now. Their roof fails in 8 years. If you pay it right the first time, it's not going to be the case. But they still go, well, I'm getting a layer or double layer of 40-pound felt. We know felt is still oil based, and that's what makes it disintegrate.
Yeah.
Or on solar panels.
Cracks.
Yeah,
right?
solar panels. Yeah, I'm going to save 10 grand. No, you're not, because it's going to fail in less than half the time, and then you're going to go buy the $30,000 system you should have done. And so the cheapest bid, I mean, have you ever found the cheapest bid ever being the cheapest?
Well, my wife would probably compliment me on this right now because I want to be honest about stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of a compulsive buyer.
Okay.
But when I buy, I try to always get the best.
Right.
I don't worry about somebody saying, hey, we watered that down because
Right.
of this, or it's
Right.
going to save you $500.
Right.
I would prefer to spend a little
Right.
bit more. It's like getting a cup of, tomato soup
Yeah.
and adding a gallon of water to
or
it.
more dramatically, you don't mind I watered the chemo down, do you? No, it's true.
Or
but-
get some of that methadone instead of heroin
Right.
from the state of California.
But you know what I know about you is one of the things I really admire about you is not so much compulsive buyer, but when you get it in your mind to do something, you do it. But you know where
have you seen our office lately?
yeah, but you know where your safety is?
I got pain on my fingers still.
I know you're doing that this morning. But where your safety is that you recognize value and you buy the best.
Well, you know what it
So
is?
you
It gives me
really can't fault.
it gives me peace of mind.
Right, but in that
know?
way, you can buy quickly.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You can almost buy impulsively, because the bottom line is if you know you're buying high-end quality and it's installed by a professional, you're not going to go wrong. Okay, but the bargain shoppers, I see people with $140,000 cars in the driveway and they're trying to bargain shop their roof that's on their home.
It's totally ridiculous.
And I'm like, no, I do you want me to I won't quote you felt, because I will never use it. I'm going to put a double layer of gaff or boral, 40-pound. We're going to put 80-pound of something under there for an underlayment, and you're going to get a 50-year roof or whatever it's going to be. That's how we have the reviews we have, and that's how we have the repeat business we have.
And guess what? We just didn't go to Google and say, what's the best felt paper on the planet? No, we
Right.
went to the manufacturer level.
Yeah.
We went to the manufacturer level and have done all that due diligence
For you.
so you don't have to. Imagine sitting there in front of your flipping computer right now
Yeah.
and just going, man.
Well, and that's,
Have you ever spent a couple hours doing that and never get anything done?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I do it at least 3 times a week.
I'm a bit OCD on that. I'm not going to lie to you. My wife and I just got.
I love Google. You know that.
My wife and I just got a new bed, and she thinks I'm crazy until the fact that when she laid on it, she was like, "Oh my God."
Thank you, Rob.
I'm not kidding. I probably watched close to 8 hours of videos on YouTube.
Oh, wow.
I found a company out there that were doing reviews of over 100 mattresses. They even had a $200 coupon, and I found that the one I was most interested in had a store towards South Coast area, and I went ahead and went there, laid on it. As soon as we laid on it, we knew. But also, I narrowed it down to a few different choices, and I didn't spend. I spent a week. I didn't get obsessive about it.
That's about right if you're going to make an investment like that.
But I mean, it's a bed that, it's got a lifetime warranty. It's going to last us a long time, and it's our comfort and it's our sleep, which is important. But, I'm all for, I want you to do due diligence. I want you to be curious about things. I want you, though, to also understand that if you're with a very reputable firm like us, we're doing that work for you.
That's right.
When people say, well, I want 3 bids, I go, well, I can give you 3 myself.
Let's go to Google and shop right now.
Okay, I can give you a Solaria panel, a SunPower panel, and a Tier B or C panel.
That's
I'm
right.
going to tell you which one I think, which is Solaria, only because it's the closest thing. Or
it looks great.
It looks great, but I mean, it's like a SunPower for less money, and it's not a Tier B panel, and I know it's going to last.
And overall, I think it performs better in SunPower.
I think the way they've maximized the real estate of power production on the panel, I think that's brilliant.
20% more power.
Yeah.
To every panel that's out there.
Yeah.
20% is a lot in the long run.
Because think about it. If you've got 20% more power in one panel, every 5 panels you're getting another panel.
That's right. So you keep going and going and going.
It's kind of crazy when you think about it that way, but also they're built for such longevity, and the only thing out there before that was built that way was SunPower. But my whole thing isn't.
They came from Powerlight.
Yeah. I mean,
Powerlight is the one that gave them their crown.
Right.
The only difference between SunPower and Powerlight, you had to get a gardener when you installed their solar systems. Really? They had these huge farms, and they would put them close to the property. It came with a lifetime supply of Julio the gardener.
There you go.
So they can take their weed eater out and just whatever.
Clean around it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then that SunPower got into play. And then I hate to say it, they've become arrogant ever since. And that's just my point of view. I don't care what anybody says.
Right.
SunPower is the most arrogant company on the planet. Their managers suck.
Well, I've worked for them directly.
Sorry, guys.
And
I love your product.
Love the product.
Thank you.
Loved working there. But sometimes even coming from a dealer.
Their regional sales managers are just idiots.
Well, the problem is,
I know a couple, but they're just arrogant. I'm sorry.
Part of the challenge we have, and I'm even working on a large, power plant project, is you would think I would have their attention buying 500,000 panels.
I wouldn't give them 3.
No, but I have problem getting their attention for buying a $100 million order, and I would think I'd get a little attention.
They treat you like you're nothing.
Yeah, they're just in a position. And so then we get something like Solaria that's sitting there, rated the number 1 in reliability, independently tested for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
They're not just nipping at the heels. They're really there. And they've got a price point that, is it higher than a Panasonic or an LG or a Tier B? Absolutely.
I got an email from the president of the company.
Yeah. But I would put that on my roof.
Care. Oh,
they
yeah,
do. They're very hands-on.
Solaria is what's going on my roof.
Yeah, and that's the thing. So
there's probably over 100 different manufacturers out there on the planet today.
Yeah, absolutely.
It will not be anything that comes from Beijing. That's for damn sure.
Well, the problem is mass produced just right in its title tells you should worry. When your panel starts to degrade and fail, it will produce less. And when it produces less, you still need that same amount of power. So where do you get that power when it's not coming from your panel?
Got to buy it.
Back to your utility.
Got to buy it.
So the point is, if we're putting something on there to get rid of your utility or the most of it or all of it, we want it gone, period.
Here's what people don't really realize. These guys that have bought solar panels for the last 10 years, the guy that purchased a solar system and bought these really older inverters way back when that are still failing, Edison's rates are going up.
Oh, yeah.
And then they bought these partial systems, which really don't do the job. So they don't realize how much more energy they're going to have to buy at the new rates. It's like bass backwards, isn't it?
Yeah, and I've worked at large companies that were large household name brands, right? That when they found themselves not being as price competitive with others, they instructed their salespersons to sell 80% systems or 70% systems to look more price competitive. And then what happens is the consumer doesn't know they don't have a 100% system until a year later at the true-up.
That's right.
That's just really
do people
predatory.
know people really know what a true-up is? It's not a word.
No.
Let me give you an example.
Yeah.
Southern California Edison, the utility provider, one of the best providers as far as I'm concerned.
Sure.
For the last 130 years, right? So you get the solar system, you place it on the roof. There's this program called net metering, NEM.
Right.
That actually calculates how much energy you're pushing back to the grid, right?
Right.
And at the end of the year, 12 months, if people aren't doing this monthly bill thing so they can see what's going on at the end of 12 months, they're going to get this if their solar system is not producing what it should produce.
Right.
Especially if these guys were selling, hey,
and a lot
let's
of them
just get the deal. I'll sell them a 70% system.
Yeah.
They'll never know about it. I'll be gone from company X. I'm moving over to company Y.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it, right?
Often, yeah.
30% of $200.
Yeah. So basically,
6 times 12.
Right.
That's almost $800.
So basically, there are 3 scenarios that can happen at your annual true up. So today we get powered up. Is it the 11th today?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so I'm powered up today. I get PTO permission to operate. So next June 11th.
Next June.
Okay,
your January 1st now.
I'm going to have a true up. Now they're going to give me a hint to it on every one of my bills. Just take a look at page 3 or 4 or something like that normally.
It's page 4 and it's like a little box.
Yeah.
And if there's a negative in front of the dollar sign,
you're sweet.
it means you're okay.
You're good.
But if the negative is gone, that's what you currently owe.
Oh, exactly. So there's only 3 scenarios you can have. You could break even, kind of rare to be right on the sword, right?
Right.
You could be in a positive situation where they owe you because you've overproduced.
Yep.
Or you could be behind the position where you're going to have to pay.
And the 8 ball is rough.
Yeah, especially because there were a lot of companies that went in and did 80% systems or less. We also see a lot of new homes going in where they're putting 8 to 12 panels on a fairly large home. I know the idea
Let's talk about that for a second.
Yeah, I know the idea there wasn't just, you get a 3,600 square foot home and you got 12 panels. Not going to work. So it ran your washer and dryer maybe or something like that.
My kid's hair dryer.
Yeah. So,
and that's it.
But
you know why they're doing that? Because Title 24 only said, hey, to get over that bump of concern, you need to install at least a 2.5 kilowatt on every house. Yeah. 2,500 watts per hour is not a lot of juice, man.
No.
Especially right now at 106 degrees outside.
Yeah.
A 3,600 square foot house probably has 2 air conditioners.
Yeah.
It's zoned on the first level and the second level.
Yeah, hopefully.
And so there's probably 5 ton of air conditioner working that house. Remember, each ton is 750 watts per hour.
Right.
Never let an air conditioning guy say, hey, we're going to get you the brand new whiz-bang 99 SEER.
Right. Yeah.
Air conditioning system. It'll save you 50% on your electric bill.
Look, the higher SEER is good, but it's not the reality.
It's a lie.
It's
Remember, volts times amps equal watts times time.
Exactly.
You can't get over that.
No, that formula applies to everything.
So 750 watts times 5 is over 4,000 watts, and you got a 2,500 watt solar system.
Yeah.
So when you're running that at 10 p.m. tonight to get little Billy cooled off because the heat's ripping him up upstairs.
Last night was the first time we ran our AC. Our place is a bit like a mid-century modern.
Yeah.
So we have some thicker block as part of our walls.
Which is great.
It stays fairly cool, but even last night was just like, kind of ridiculous. But yeah, everyone's going to start running it now. Sure, it's great to have a high SEER, rated AC. But it's not going to
solve your problem.
It's not going to solve your problem. It's not going to cut a bill in half. If people are telling you those things, run in the opposite direction as fast as you can.
Yeah,
variable speed pumps on pools. Do they help? Yes. Are they going to change your life? No.
No, exactly.
Okay. What you need to do is stop being just a consumer of energy. You need to be a manufacturer of it.
Quit drinking the Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Become your own utility is what you need to do.
Hi, I'm Billy, salesperson, and if I put a variable speed pool pump on your pool, that's going to cut your energy in half.
Yeah, and
seriously?
And I tell you,
wow.
One of the privileges of being able to work here with you is
just disgusting to be
Billy,
the whoever.
We've actually turned deals down because they didn't pencil out or make sense for the consumer. And I've watched these other big companies that everyone goes, oh, they're in Costco. Oh, they're, they make cars.
Does any Costco member or Home Depot member understand this? Mm-hmm. Costco and Home Depot, they have this Sunrun guy or whoever it is.
It was Solar City, it was Tesla.
ABC, Solar, whoever.
Yeah.
Do you know, consumer, by the way, when you check out, that store gets 15% of gross. Yeah. So whatever they're selling it to you at, 15% goes into Home Depot or Costco's pocket. I don't know if they know that.
No, absolutely, because when I was there...
It's probably 20% now.
The store manager would sometimes come to us and say, hey, last month was kind of slow. We only made $55,000 off you.
Right?
Yeah. No, it's true.
Better add some more numbers there, Bob.
Yeah. No, and then they have meetings with you every month about hitting targets because, they're
selling you real estate to be there.
Exactly. These companies,
it's called their road show.
Absolutely.
So if anybody that has a Costco card or a Home Depot card and you're going and they're talking to these clowns at these little kiosks, stop it.
Well, the problem is for a vast majority, because I've been in the position of training people in these companies.
Yeah, me too. They call it PK.
Yeah. But the thing is so many of these people, especially the ones in the stores, they're called field energy specialists or something like that.
Field something, not energy specialist.
And the thing is, no, it's a good title, right? Sounds impressive, but
okay.
They literally, for majority of these people, they have not sold solar 2 weeks earlier than that date.
Yeah, but it used to sell Verizon phones.
Right. No, exactly. But
that right. It does that make him a qualified solar guy?
Here's what they are. They are called appointment setters, is the truth of it. And what they're trying to do is they're trying to go off of a set criteria that ranges anywhere from, you had a certain bill, or you had to not be on a savings program, or you didn't have trees, or your roof was facing the right way. My God, I just saw a thing on Twitter where they had myths about solar, and one of them is there's no bad direction for your roof to face.
When you told me that, I was like,
"What are we talking about?"
I was freaking out. Go ahead and install it on the north roof, there, Phil.
Hey, that perfectly makes sense if you're in Hawaii, but it sure as heck doesn't make any sense in the in the landlocked.
What are these guys thinking?
No, and when I look at that, and then they've got brands that are supposedly online helping consumers understand.
Yeah. Most of those things are.
It's really bothersome.
They're just like, they call them splash pages.
Yeah.
Customers will go there, and now one of them that I just saw, I forgot the URL, safesolardirect.com or something crazy like that, right? It would go down there and say specifically, there are government programs here to help you go green.
It'll be free.
Hey, name one, Rob.
No, exactly.
What government program right now is there out there that will pay for your solar system in California? Name one.
There isn't. There's a federal incentive only.
It's an incentive.
And it's an incentive. It's not a rebate. It's not paying for your system. It's 30% this year, and you have to have a tax liability to write it against to get anything back.
So that means there's no government programs out there.
No, exactly. And I've seen the ones. I just saw one yesterday because, we're out there also to look at everything out there so we see what our consumers are seeing so we can make sense of it for them and tell them, what's real and what's BS, quite honestly.
Pull the wool over your eyes, will they?
I saw one the other day that, just yesterday actually, that said your solar system can be absolutely free, 100%.
Which is an outright lie.
Bold lie.
My friend Ron Ricketts, he's a good friend of mine. He's over at the Hero program, Renovate America. Love that guy.
Yeah.
He'll be here on the 17th, by the way.
Okay.
He's going to talk about their program. His eyes would, right now, he's probably listening to this. Right. His eyes are rolling back to the back of his head, and he hears this a lot.
Yeah, we hear
it. I think he said last time that, somebody said something about a government program and he couldn't hit them quick enough, or,
right.
What do you do? I still get people that saying to customers, they're going to receive a check on their federal tax credit. They're going to cut them a check.
Yeah, you're gonna get a check, or they take programs, certain finance programs out there that
I'd like to find those programs. Where are they?
that you could pay through your property tax and things like that. We spoke to him the other day.
Those are okay.
Those are okay, but
Yeah.
then there's people trying to make them look like food stamps for solar.
Exactly.
Like it's a government program, and it's not a government
Yep.
program. Okay, but it's just what's going to happen right now is innovative finance is going to be a lot of the key to people switching, because like I said, prices are going up on energy prices. The incentives are going away. The prices, they're not going to get better on solar panels, people, and if they do, it's going to be bigger margins for those that are selling them. Because the bottom line is as long as the industry keeps going up utility-wise, so are the prices of solar. And as soon as California continues to make it more and more mandatory, your prices are going up. Our last show, if you didn't hear it, go back and see how your prices are going up 58% in the next 4 years.
And that was like episode 14 or 15 or something like that.
Go back and take a look at it.
I mean, seriously.
You need to understand that. And, part of our thing today was, just reviewing some of our customers. We want you to do research.
Yes.
But there's a certain point in time where you could do so much that it just paralyzes you, it confuses you, and you don't end up acting. And right now, not acting, especially in 2019, is only going to cost you even more. It's like the worst thing you can do is nothing.
It's like having something self-inflicted.
Yeah.
I mean, your electric bill, firstly, should be self-inflicting enough.
Yeah.
That should be like a felony to get slapped with that, what they just did to us. That $356 million EV thing they're about ready to...
We haven't even seen what that's going to do to your bill yet.
And, I haven't really seen anything about, critical peak pricing yet. I think the time of use residential at 41 cents and above was the beginning of critical peak pricing. Yeah. What I imagine that's going to happen to residential customers, mark my words, I feel there's going to be a small demand charge. So if you spike over 5 to 10 kilowatt in any given month, hey, SCE, I'm giving you kind of a heads up.
Oh, I think they thought about
interval data, baby. Why not charge it to the 16 million customers that you're throwing this other junk on?
I think a lot of the things we see in the commercial end and business end will migrate to residential at some point or in some form.
Well, they've already started it. Here we go.
Yeah, no, they
CPP,
have. Yeah.
We're at 41 cents. We were never that high, ever.
No, and by the way, that's not the highest. It can hit 48 cents, depending on what program you're
I had a prediction 10 years ago.
Imagine that, almost 50 cents.
I had a prediction. Right now in San Diego, I think gas, electric, PG&E, they're at 48 cents. Check this out.
San Diego's really tough.
I have a prediction that Southern California Edison will be at 68 cents a kilowatt hour in the next 3 to 5 years.
Well, it very well could be. And then if you've waited, let's say 4 years, and they've gone up 7% a year, so you're up 28%, you lost a 30% tax incentive, you're already 58% upside down plus any other fees, you could be 70% to the wrong side if you didn't do solar now.
At a 1,500... Right?
Yeah.
If you look at 1,500 kilowatt hours times 20 cents, what is that more? Let me see. 1,500 times 0.20. Is that it? Mm-hmm. Am I right? Is that... No, it can't be $300.
I don't know.
What is it, Rob? Go to your Apple calculator.
You're calculating it.
1,500... I mean, 1,500 is low, too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's about 20 cents.
Yeah, it's 300. Yeah.
So I just kind of shocked myself, right?
No.
So imagine it going up 20 more cents to 68 cents from where PG&E is currently.
Right.
And, of course, the fires didn't help.
Well, and look, people out there listening to this, you could think, look, we're just trying to drum up business. But I'm going to tell you what we're doing. We're trying to be the precursors to get out there and inform you of what's happening.
It's
because if we could give you the information and arm you with that, whether you come and let us be your provider or someone else. We just feel that we're at least giving you the information that you need to know, because I don't know any solar company or provider out there that's having these in-depth conversations. We just had a conversation the other day with a financial expert where we're saying, look, we're helping clients, and this is, you just helped one about a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
We're helping customers realize that if I could save you enough money on electricity a year, that if you put that money in a cookie jar, and at the end of the year, you make one extra principal payment to your mortgage, you could take your 30-year mortgage down to 15 or below. What solar company is having those conversations?
Yeah, nobody's doing that. They don't care about the economics of scale.
No.
They're just not charismatic enough.
But what we care about is you're us. We're consumers too.
Yes.
And when we find out something that can help you, it's helped us, right? We just want to share it with everyone. We want to help you save money. We want to help you invest. We want to help you pay your house off sooner. We want to help you get your energy bill under control. As soon as we find something, we jump on the podcast, and that's why we created this.
And the greatest thing is we can do it anytime, anywhere, any place. And in fact, the reason we're doing it today, because we had a podcast. What do they call that? Itch.
Yeah. No. Well. Yeah. Well, every time we get
I
information,
just love to
we just
talk.
want to share it.
Oh my
immediately,
goodness!
And I'm looking forward to our next one. For some, it might seem boring, but we're gonna tackle.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Here's a little coming attraction. We're gonna talk about tariffs. We're gonna talk about how the tariffs are actually hurting the solar industry and making you pay for more for your solar.
The United States government is so weak on this tariff stuff.
Well, here's the thing.
They're laughing at us.
One of the things we're
going
to cover is this. Foreign countries ultimately do not pay for the tariff.
Absolutely not.
Corporations in America, it ends up costing them more, which they pass that cost on to the American consumer, and we, the people, pay for the tariff. So it's a self-inflicted punishment. Whatever any politician is trying to tell you, it's a lie.
Yep.
And the solar tariff, the one that impacts solar, is going to make solar more costly or force you to power your American home by a Chinese product. And that is just completely wrong. That's what the next one's going to be about. And it's worth
wrong.
It's worth looking into because legislation right now is either for or against you.
I hate to say it, you're right, man.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, everybody, it's great to get some competitive quotes,
right?
But seriously, get them with sincerity. And you know what? Make sure this guy has his HIS license when he walks into the door, because that's integrity, right?
Right.
It shows that he cares about your protection and his protection as well,
right?
And that he's working with a reputable company.
How about ask him or her this? So how many years have you been in the solar industry?
You know how I fool these guys when I go to Home Depot?
Because it's probably weeks.
You know when I go to Home Depot or Costco, and one of the things that I ask every one of these guys at, one of those little kiosks, right?
Yeah.
I ask them this. So first and foremost, they don't even know what solar panel they're going to be selling you because they get whatever comes off the boat.
Yeah, it's what they're stocking in warehouses, what they have to move.
That the famous, 7,600 watt inverter that's sitting there on a shelf, and the first thing they say is, "Hey, you want to buy a solar system, right? Great, give them a 7,600 watt inverter."
Yeah.
It's just like they overloaded those
I've been
things.
in the meetings where they say, "We've got a surplus of this. This is what you're pushing."
Dial it into where it needs to be.
Yeah.
It's not anything else. You don't want to put diesel gas in your regular gas car, do you?
No, absolutely not.
Because there's going to be something wrong.
Right.
So anyways, I always ask these guys, tell me the formula of how to create a kilowatt hour.
You're mean.
I know, but it's real simple.
It's really simple, but I can tell you this. For all the training I've been through with all the companies.
You've never heard of that, have you?
One time at SunPower.
Really?
SunPower was the only company that trained you about volts, amperes, watt.
Okay.
Only
all right.
company. There wasn't any other company. Take all the largest ones you've ever heard of. Everyone you see in Home Depot and Costco. I've never heard anything taught other than this is how a loan works. This is how a lease works. We have software that shows you how the solar panels will array. They never taught you what it all meant and how to really, truly calculate it in your head.
I mean, really, it's all about...
How many blank stares did you get?
All of them. All of them were sitting there going,
and these, and the sad thing
which way did he go?
No, and what I want to, it's a great point because you're letting these individuals, God bless them. They're trying to get a job. But
dude, Taco Bell would probably serve you better.
Most of them have weeks, not years. In our case, decades of experience. And let me tell you, you're buying that experience because it is our experience that makes sure you get the right size system on your house with the right components installed right to last not years, but decades.
Yep.
So
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Choose wisely.
Go Solaria. Woohoo!
They're doing fantastic work.
Solar Edge, SMA inverters, best on the planet.
Yeah.
Hey, Rob, all I can tell you is this, man. Educate, keep doing what you're doing, and throw the spaghetti against the wall. And if these smart consumers are smart enough and they kind of take this with a grain of salt. They'll be smart shoppers
Absolutely.
as well.
What we're trying to do is customers are getting more savvy. We're trying to make you the smartest, most informed consumer you can be. And I happen to notice when that happens, most people buy from us because they understand what we're providing.
Yeah,
It's a value you can't beat.
And stop listening to these commercials. Get a $500 discount on blah, 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 blah.
Well, also, I hate
Ridiculous.
to say this, stop listening to, I have an uncle who has a friend in another state that once did solar or a roof, and they have an opinion. You've heard the old saying, opinions are
Everyone's got an a-hole, yeah.
And the thing is, you got to make sure, everyone has an opinion, but where's it coming from?
Yeah.
And we're kind of at a privilege. We have a lot of business, so for us, sure, we'd like your business, but we don't die if we don't get it. We're not trying to sell you. We're trying to help you make a good decision. And if that decision is not to go solar, fine.
Right.
We want to keep getting our 5-star reviews by doing the right thing.
Yep.
And that's all we're going to ever do.
If anything, I'm going to help somebody at least take them to the finish line in knowledge.
Exactly.
I'm going to take them to the finish line in understanding,
Yep.
Comparing apples to oranges. And then at the end of the day, because I got family members, I got niece, nephews that are getting into buying houses now. I got uncles, I got aunts and stuff like that. And I got really good friends like yourself, Rob.
Yeah.
And even if it's a guy on the street and he wants to pop up some conversation, I've been in Home Depot and they see my quality home improvement shirt on.
Right.
And they go, hey, tell me something about home improvement. And all I do is I hand them a card that says, you know what? It doesn't cost you a penny. We come out to the house and give you a free full house energy evaluation.
Yeah.
And it's a cursory visual of where we can start.
Absolutely. Something you mentioned really quick before we go, because we're also family men. I'm about to
I know, right?
Kids.
It's
finals week. So
great kids, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. I hope I had something to do
Apple
with that.
falls close to the tree.
But you mentioned something about comparing apples and oranges. In a lot of cases, when we find people struggling on price, even if it's with us, that's what they're doing. They're comparing apples with oranges, and they're not apples to apples. If you tell me I've got a double underlayment of a top end synthetic and you've got felt, I'm not going to be the same price. If I'm doing a Solaria or SunPower panel and you're there with a tier B or C panel, I'm not going to be the same price. I can give you the pricing to match apples to apples, or you're going to have to bring, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Because, someone goes, well, you're $5,000 more. I say, yeah, but I got $10,000 more of value. We just got to really make sure. In a lot of cases, we're a little bit of a premium. We're not that much. But when you look at the work we do and how long it's going to last, I firmly believe we are the least expensive over time.
Well, last but not least, least expensive over time.
Absolutely.
Exactly. That was great, man.
You calculate us over the next 10 years or 20 years or 30 years, I guarantee you nobody costs less.
That's
that
right.
little extra up front, like when I do commercial buildings, they don't want to know just the cost of the building. They want to know the cost of operations over time. What's it going to cost me over the next 10, 20, 30, 40 years? When you calculate that in, no one can beat us.
It is what it is, man. Yeah. Hey, Rob, thanks a million, man. Appreciate you.
Yes,
and
man.
We'll see you soon, huh?
Absolutely, Chris.
Thanks, partner.
All right, take it easy, man.
You too.
The Energy Hour was brought to you by
For beauty, efficiency, and power, the only product we know in the solar industry is Solaria. Maximum power. For nearly 25 years, Solaria has set the pace for solar panel performance, efficiency, reliability, quality, and design. Maximum power. Solaria continues to leverage its patented technology, engineering expertise, and sophisticated automation into creating one of the most attractive, energy-efficient solar panels available on the market today. Maximum power. What really defines home solar? How about Solaria? Quality you can trust for your home or business. Solaria is the new benchmark for solar energy. Where do you get this panel for your home or business? Go to QHIinc.com. That's QHIINC.com/Solaria. SOLARIA.
Got your latest electric bill? Is it less than last month or last year? Probably not. But if you had a solar system from QHI, it would be. Your electric meter could be running backwards. Right now, get a QHI system installed for no money down, no out-of-pocket expenses. Get an immediate savings on your electric bill. Call 909-609-5437. Solar is all they do. Call QHI 909-609-5437.
Thank you for listening to The Energy Hour. Visit them on the internet by going to qhiinc.com/TEO. That's qhiinc.com/TEO.